is all regarding Ukraine and the horrible situation there. The Ukrainian government says the Russians have invaded and taken over our airports. That's what the Ukraine government is saying. The Russians are saying, it's not us. To be truthful here, the troops don't have insignias. They just have blank uniforms on them. So they're not identifying themselves as anything. But some Russian troops from a base there are on the move. So it's all adding up to Putin being Putin, and the Security Council going to work on that. Live updates throughout the hour.
Good morning on this Friday. Fox says alert now. It's being called a Russian invasion. A Ukrainian official saying that Russian Marines have surrounded a key military airport in that country while, quote, unknown armed men in military uniforms are patrolling another airport nearby. There's a lot to talk about in this fast-moving story. On this Friday, we say good morning and welcome. I'm Bill Hemmer, live here in America's Newsroom.
Hello, everybody. Hi, Bill. I'm Martha McCallum. So the chaos in Ukraine could be about to explode here. Russia is flexing its military muscle, conducting drills up and down the border with Ukraine, and now the ousted ex-president is in the middle of giving his first news conference. No one knew where this man was for several days, but there he is, Yanukovych, speaking to the press right now, and we'll hear more about what he has to say.
We're going to start with Amy Kellogg, monitoring everything live in London now. First on the ground in Ukraine, what is the latest from there, Amy?
Well, a top Ukrainian security official, Bill, has said that those two airports that were reportedly taken over by some sort of Russian troops this morning are now back under Ukraine's control. I think it's important to point out that it's not altogether clear who the gunmen were who took over these two different airports, one in Simferopol, the other in Sebastopol, both of these Ukrainian cities. Ukraine said it was Russian troops, but some people on the ground have been questioned and said they were just militia. Clearly they are pro-Russian forces, but whether or not they are actually part of the Russian military, Russia does have a very key naval installation, a port where it keeps its Black Sea Fleet in Sebastopol, so there is always a certain number of Russian naval personnel on the ground. Of course, Russia is not confirming any of these stories about what's gone on at the airport, but then again, they wouldn't necessarily be likely to. So it's very murky. There are still some checkpoints that are being held between the airports or around the airports by militiamen, but no shots have been fired as far as we know. No one has been hurt. However, very dramatic scenes this morning as two airports in Crimea, which is this semi-autonomous region of Ukraine, taken over by militants. Bill?
So, Amy, the former leader of Ukraine is in a town in Russia. This is a live look at him right now. It's the first time we've seen him. He is making a statement. He looks like he's taking questions as well. What is he saying about the circumstances regarding Kiev and also Putin in Moscow?
It's absolutely surreal, Bill, that he has turned up in this town called Rostov. He said he went to visit a friend there, and that's why he's in this part of southern Russia. He wouldn't give details about how he actually got out of the country, except for that what he said was that he still believes he's the president of Ukraine, and that he wasn't overthrown. He actually just wasn't safe anymore, which seems to be pretty much the same thing. You're overthrown because you are chased out by people threatening your life. In any event, he said he plans to still fight for the future of Ukraine. He is blaming the West for everything. He said that he was misled by the foreign ministers from Europe who cut this deal with him last week where there'd be a slow transition. So he has not met with President Putin. He said he's spoken to him on the phone, but he did come out swinging, criticizing Putin for his, quote, silence.
Yeah, an interesting comment there too. Amy, thanks. We're going to watch all this with your help out of London. Amy Kellogg leading our coverage on this today.